Hi YouTube yogis, today we're going to do 50 minutes of yoga for those of you who sit a lot all day. This video is actually good for really anyone who works in a position with their wrists neutral, their head forward, and their spine rounded. What you're going to need for this practice is 1 or 2 blocks. If you do not have yoga blocks, that's okay. You might have a DVD collection. You can use rolled up blankets. You can use pillows. There's a lot of things you can use if you don't have a block. So we're going to start in a position called supported fish pose. So you're going to bring a block that's going to go underneath your thoracic spine, which is basically around the rib cage, around the base of the shoulder blades. And then you're going to bring another block underneath your head like a pillow. Most people might be on the lower setting here on this first block. Maybe you don't need it behind your head, the second one under the head. Those of you who have maybe a regular yoga practice or you're just more open in the spine or just naturally more flexible there, bring your block to the medium setting. That's where I'm going to go. I do sit a lot. I'm a writer as well as a yoga teacher, but my day job is I write product copy, so I'm on my computer a lot. So I'm going to bring this block. You can see where it is. It's not way up here underneath my arms and shoulder joints. It's not in my low back. It's right at the base of my shoulder blades at kind of maybe the middle of my rib cage. And then from there, I'm just going to let my head melt back and land on my block. And I'm going to bring my arms anywhere that's comfortable. I have a really open chest, so I like to bring my arms into a wide cactus, though you may want them long, or maybe it feels good to just have your hands on your ribs, wherever's comfortable. And same with the legs. Soles of the feet can be planted down, or maybe you extend them if that feels okay on the back. And this is a great pose to just settle into, spend some time in, as you're opening up that area of the spine that tends to be really rounded throughout the day. Your ears are coming in line with your shoulders, maybe for the first time during the day. And we'll just take a few moments here to imagine, and also maybe literally, melt into our blocks or whatever objects you're laying on. Noticing any areas of the body that are holding tension, especially in the face, the neck, the shoulders, the chest, and the hips. Imagining that there are big sandbags placed on your hands and your feet, up the legs, on your hip bones, on your shoulders, pressing them down towards the floor in that space between the block under your heart and the block under your head. And let's take some cleansing breaths together. On your next breath in, fill all the way up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath at the top. And then let it go out the mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Open mouth, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Last one. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come back to your breath. It's regular rhythm. Go ahead and stamp the soles of the feet down if they aren't already. Roll over to one side, coming off of your props, and press up to a seat. Good. Go ahead and set your props aside and come into a comfortable seat, just sitting crisscross. We're just going to start to mobilize the spine a little bit with some seated cat and cows. Inhale. Draw your shoulder blades back, arch the spine, pull the chin up towards the ceiling, stretching the front of the throat. Exhale, do the reverse. Round the spine, chin to chest. Sink your weight back like your hands are supporting your entire body weight. Good. Inhale, coming back through cow pose. Shoulders back, arch the spine, pull back on those knees. Exhale, chin to chest, hollow out the front body. Good. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Come back to neutral. Roll over the knees, tuck the toes, and find downward facing dog. Good. Take a couple moments in your downward dog to explore. Pedaling out the feet, bending one knee and straightening the other. Maybe rolling forward to a plank and then back up, starting to loosen up the chest and loosen up the shoulders. Downward dog is probably one of the most difficult poses for a lot of people because it's really not a natural position for the body. But it's a great position because we're getting some length through the back of the body, we're engaging the core, we're getting some beautiful length in the spine, and we're working our shoulders while opening our chest. Again, not very often do we weight bear through our hands, not very often do we have our arms up and overhead throughout the day. So this is a great position to start to build some strength in and to start to just get a little bit of warmth going through the body. In your down dog, let your knees be relaxed, let your knees be soft, allow your heels to come off the mat. Try not to force them down, hyper straightening the legs. And then actively push the floor away with the arms. Push, push, push. Get out of the shoulders. Allow your shoulders to rise up to the ears. Relax the neck. Good. Draw the low belly in towards the spine. And imagine that someone has their hands around your hips and they're pulling your hips up and back. Good. On your next inhale, bring your gaze forward and walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold. Good. Give the head a little shake, yes and no. And then bring a deep bend into your knees, really deep bend. You can see my belly is draped over my thighs. I'm going to interlace my hands around the very base of the skull. So not at the big round part of your skull and not around the back of the neck, right at the occipital bone, right where your skull connects with your neck. And then give that area a little bit of a squeeze with your wrists. And you're not pulling down, you're just letting gravity and the weight of your arms do the work to decompress the upper back. Really relax the head. Totally relax the neck. Again, maybe give it a little shake, a little yes and no. Good, release your hands down to the ground. Inhale, lengthen the spine, bend your knees. Bring your hands to your hips and push the mat away as you come all the way up to stand. So let's take a step to the top of our mat. Feet hip-width distance apart. And then on your inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Interlace your hands except for your thumb and your index fingers like your Charlie's Angels. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Good. Take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, arch up and over to the left. Good. Inhale, take a little halfway lift. Exhale, up and over. Good. Pull with that bottom arm. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, up and over to the other side. Good. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, up and over. Feel that side stretch and pull with that bottom arm. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Draw your shoulders down and back. Hug your elbows together behind you. Push down through your hips like you're trying to anchor them in place. And push down through your heels as you try and grow taller. So you're not back bending, you're just getting length. You're pushing down through the heels like your heart is being drawn upwards towards the sky. Good. From there, maybe start to arch back a little bit more. If it feels okay, you can drop the head. Just take a nice standing back bend. Good. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, go and forward fold. Good. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to a plank pose, maybe dropping the knees as you exhale, lower chaturanga. Good, let's come to a Sphinx pose. So Sphinx is just like those Sphinx statues you see in Egypt, elbows underneath the shoulders, arms are at an 11, fingers are spread. Push down through the palms of the hands, push down through the elbows so that you're not sinking in your shoulders, you're pressing the mat up and away from you. And then push down through the pads of your fingers and draw the pads of your fingers back towards your feet. So it's like you're trying to squeeze that last bit of toothpaste from the tube with your chest. You're drawing your shoulders back and you're trying to get your heart and chest forward between the arms. They probably won't go there unless you're extremely flexible, unless maybe you're missing a few ribs in your rib cage, or you've got a very long torso, for which I am very jealous. Good. Now, while you're here, getting this really nice gentle back bend that's also strengthening, I want you to press down through your toes, draw the knees up the thighs, and magnetize your legs towards one another. So you're engaging the inner thighs and your butt cheeks start to engage. You feel your glutes start to hug together. Your low back is greatly supported by the strength of your glutes. And when we sit on our glutes all day, they don't work. So we gotta spend some time getting some strength in them, stabilizing the pelvis, which will stabilize the spine. If you feel tension arrive in the low back as you squeeze the glutes, as long as it doesn't hurt, as long as it isn't pinching or sharp, it's totally fine. All it is the fascia along the back body getting a little tight over time. That will loosen with a yoga practice. But as long as it's not sharp or pinchy, should be fine. It's not your discs. It's not your spine vertebrae making contact with one another. It's just that back body fascia. Good. A couple more breaths here. You should be feeling this in your shoulders and in your chest. You're doing work here. You're pushing down and pulling back with those hands. Your glutes are engaged. These next few breaths, if you'd like to, maybe start to lift the elbows, straightening the arms a little bit more. If that's not available to you, no worries. Let's take a breath in here. And then exhale. Bring the elbows back down. Good. From here, bring your head all the way down to the mat. I have a microphone, so I'm not going to. I'm going to keep my head lifted, but bring your forehead to the mat. And then bring your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Engage the legs the exact same way we just did. So pressing down through the toes, pulling the knees up the thighs. Magnetize your legs together so your glutes engage. And then pull your belly button up towards the ceiling. So often what we do when we start to strengthen the back is we compensate. We just use we let our core go. We push our belly down. Think about pulling your belly up. As you take a breath in, draw your shoulder blades back and lift the chest. This is a baby cobra pose. Similar to Sphinx, but a little bit more demand on the paraspinal muscles. Draw your shoulder blades back and elbows towards one another so your arms aren't flared like in a push-up. Elbows are drawing together behind you. Good. Hover the hands maybe. So now you're putting a lot more demand on those paraspinal muscles. Notice what's starting to go first. I've lost my glutes. I've lost my legs. So I'm going to refocus my energy, bring my legs and glutes back in like an anchor, as if someone's sitting on your legs, so that you can lift the chest a little bit higher, drawing the navel up. Don't push the ribs down. Don't push the belly down. Push the belly button, pull the belly button upwards. Good. Take an inhale, lift a little higher. And then exhale, release, bring your forehead to the mat. Good. Tuck your toes under. Roll up to tabletop. Bring your knees as wide as your mat, so really wide. Not here. Really wide. Knees really wide, big toes touch. And then sink your hips back towards your heels. I'll give a couple modifications here. That's not available. Walking the arms forward, so similar to down dog with the arms in the chest, melting the forehead down to your mat. If your head is not quite making it to the mat, grab a block, a book, a blanket, a pillow, bring it underneath the forehead to support the neck. Think about how often during the day your ears are forward of your shoulders. We want to combat those bad habits that we have in our daily posture and our yoga practice. So anytime you can bring your awareness to your ears, think about bringing them in line with the shoulders. Good. For those of you who are maybe a little bit more elevated in the hips, this position's not as accessible. You can bring a block or, again, pillows, whatever you have underneath your glutes to support you here as you sink forward. Another option would be if you feel pinching at the front of the hips to bring a rolled up blanket or a towel into the hip creases as you forward fold. And that will help create space between your pelvis and your femur bones and help remove that pinching. Good. For some people, child's pose is very soothing, very comforting. And for some people, it's a really uncomfortable, awkward position. Both are okay. Wherever you are, just take a deep breath in and a smooth breath out. Good. Inhale. Walk your hands back up towards your knee. Just going to do a quick wrist stretch. Tuck your toes under so that you're also getting a bonus foot stretch. And bring your palms down, fingertips towards your knees, wrists facing forward, fingers are spread, and then start to sink your weight back, stretching through the forearms. Good, one more breath. And inhale, lean forward, slowly release. Take some circles, again, still sitting on the toes, getting the feet a little love. And then let's come onto our back. Good. We're going to set you up for a little constructive rest. First, bringing the arms to a T or cactus, drawing the knees into the chest and dropping the knees over to the left. Just a quick, gentle twist. Good. On your inhale, you can come back up to center. And exhale, knees to the right. Remember, this is your practice. You can always pause the video. You can spend more time in these poses, but I'm trying to make this a little quick and snappy for those of you who just don't really have a whole lot of time in the day. Many of us don't. Sometimes 15 minutes on a mat can feel like a long time. Good. Inhale, knees come back up to center. Setting up for a constructive rest, which is a really nice neutral position of the pelvis and spine. Arms can stay where they are in a T if this feels really lush in the chest and feels opening and pleasant. If not, I like to bring my hands to my hip points. Bring your feet as wide as your mat, so your feet are pretty wide, and then let your knees touch. Good. This is a nice position where your femurs are at a 45-degree angle or so. If this feels good, stay here. You can always extend the legs or take any other version of your resting pose, your Shavasana you'd like. Otherwise, settle in. Let's take a cleansing breath together. Inhale. Big sigh. And enjoy a few moments of quiet. Take a deep breath in through your nose and send it out through the mouth. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe a little rock left to right. Roll over to your favorite side and press up to a seat. Coming into Sukhasana or any comfortable seat with your palms together at your heart, bowing your head to your fingertips. Take a moment to thank yourself for making it to your mat, even for just a short practice, to spend some time giving yourself some self-love, some self-care, because you deserve it. Remembering how important it is to take care of yourself so that you may take care of others, to love yourself so that you may love others, to be kind to yourself so you may be kind to others. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. If you'd like more videos like this that are longer, more detailed, full length, be sure to join my Patreon, which is linked below in the description box. It is sliding scale pricing. You can pay as little as $5 a month to have a huge variety of yoga classes that are being added to all the time. And different tiers come with different benefits. But thank you all so much. But the minimum is $5. But for just $5 a month, you can have access to a beautiful community of people. And as we grow, we'll just keep adding more. I hope to see you there. Have a good one. Bye.